next up is Ilan Layal Foundation, and their mission is to change the world by encouraging people to use art to discover their creativity and put it to work to find unique solutions to important issues.
Good morning. Our team is Team Trust Life, and we had the great pleasure of working together and working with the Ilan Layal Foundation. I'd like to tell you a little story about our team name. Like the other teams, we had a site visit to the foundation, and we had an opportunity to meet with the founders, the board, and the executive director. And at that meeting, we asked founder Jim Hubble if he wanted us to know anything in particular, if there was one thing that we needed to understand. And his response was very simple and elegant: trust life. I think that phrase embodies Jim's experience and wisdom, as well as the values of the Ilan Layal Foundation. And it was a natural choice for our team name, as well as an essential piece of wisdom that Ilan Layal would like to share with the world. So the foundation was founded by James Hubble and his wife, Anne. And the word Ilan Layal, or the phrase Ilan Layal, is a Hebrew phrase that translates to a tree that unites the physical and the spiritual. And the foundation is both a remarkable place, as you will see from the pictures behind us and the pictures within the slide deck, and a remarkable purpose to connect humanity through public art, education, and exhibition. On the next slide, you will see the Ilan Layal Visitor Center. And this is one of the organically inspired structures of the place that is Ilan Layal. There are 11 such structures nestled in the hills of Santa Isabel. And during our time there, it was shared with us that one young visitor had noted that Ilan Layal is a place where the trees are not ashamed to stand next to the buildings. On our next slide, we actually have a shot, and it's also Uda's background, of the active artist studio. So the foundation is really preparing for leadership transition, and it seeks to ensure that it can sustain its mission and continue to share the place in the art that is Ilan Layal and contribute to the creation of shared community and humanity. Through our conversation with the board, we understood that the founders and the board had experienced great success in a very organic way and did not fully embrace traditional business planning. And so we knew to best serve their interests, we would need to provide them with options and flexibility. And our deliverable is a white paper and a presentation to their board that covers crucial considerations and practices to help the foundation achieve its mission. We generated our work product from our discussions with the executive director, the founders, and the board, as well as the remarkable professional experience of our lab, which was absolutely amazing. And we did some research of comparable organizations. Today, my colleagues Natalie and Danny will highlight some of our recommendations related to advancement and investment strategy. You're muted, Natalie.
Sorry about that. Good morning, everyone. Yes, I am going to talk about our work with sharing some information about advancement with the Ilan Layal Foundation. And the focus of advancement is really just relationships. That's it. It's relationships and creating opportunities for supporters and potential supporters to become involved, whether that's volunteering, visiting, sharing your message, making a financial contribution. And this will be critical in graduating away from reliance on the founders. And helping a beloved organization is a joyful experience. So we are going to offer people the opportunity to do exactly that. As part of our white paper, we have several best practices outlined around advancement and also examples on how they can be implemented. And I'm only going to touch on 2 of those today. And the first one I want to mention is to consider who a particular supporter's relationship is really with. Is it with the organization, or is it with the founder or another individual? Ideally, it's the organization. In this case, the founders have wonderfully strong relationships with their current supporters. And now is their opportunity to transition those important relationships to the organization so that they know they can be nurtured moving forward. The second point I want to talk about is the case for support. The case for support should compel people to want to know more and get involved. It should provoke the reaction of, ooh, tell me more about that. And for Elan Layel, the case for support is an excellent opportunity to reinforce why art matters in the first place. In fact, in the early stages of our project, Uta asked this exact question, and it just sparked a chain of beautiful emails among the board members, saying things like, art is a way to listen to the voice inside us, or art offers a way to think outside the box and see the world in a different way. So use that passion and use that emotion to help compel other people to want to help you. And bolster your case for support with information about the organization's activities and programs and the impact they make. What have you done that made the world a better place? What were the outcomes? And I want to applaud the foundation for their recent work. That is a perfect example of exactly this. They were very flexible and nimble in responding to the current health situation. And they shifted an annual in-person event that usually brings 800 people to the physical location for an annual Father's Day open house. Traditionally, this also required the purchase of a $50 ticket. Now this program is available to a broad audience virtually, and the lowered ticket price is $9.99. And you've all seen these images behind me, behind Tom, and my other teammates on our slide deck. So imagine streaming that at your leisure over a whole weekend. How fun is that, right? And this is an excellent opportunity for Elan Layel to not just tell people, but show people why they should support. And there's a lot of opportunity for Elan Layel to make a big impact and attract support. And just as important as fundraising, it's just as important to invest and manage those funds well. So I'm going to turn it over to Danny to talk about that.
Thank you, Natalie. So as the foundation continues to grow, it's important that the funds are managed according to the goals and financial position of the foundation. The board must develop an investment strategy that is consistent with the foundation's financial goals and process for continuous review and management. So the primary driver of the foundation's investment strategy should be its projected cash flow needs. So short-term capital needs should be invested in safer investment vehicles, while longer-term capital needs can be invested in riskier asset classes, such as equities. So it's extremely important to have a good understanding of the future projected cash flows before determining what the investment strategy is going to be. Once the foundation's goals have been confirmed, then an investment policy statement should be developed. And the purpose of the investment policy statement is to provide guidelines in a general framework that will be utilized by the investment manager to effectively supervise, monitor, and evaluate the investment assets for the foundation. The investment policy statement will reflect what percentage of funds will be invested in safe versus riskier assets. And riskier asset classes need to be matched to longer time horizons due to uncertainty of shorter term returns. So that means more uncertainty. And the three most important criteria in selecting investment vehicles to drive the investment strategy are going to be to look for investment vehicles that have diversification, pursuing an active versus a passive investment strategy, so determining which strategy is most suitable for the foundation, and then of course paying attention to fees, of the investment vehicles that are being selected. The most common investment vehicles that nonprofits use that provide these characteristics are mutual funds. So fund companies such as Vanguard or even exchange-traded funds, or more commonly referred to as ETFs, are typically used to drive these investment strategies. And then lastly, once the charitable contributions have grown to levels where portfolio income is substantial for the foundation, then the foundation should look at establishing an endowment. And endowments are subject to the Uniform Prudent Management of Institutional Funds Act, which provides rigorous guidelines in testing, which is one of the reasons why we think it should be in the foundation's future plans once funds have really grown to a level where an endowment makes some more sense. So as Natalie mentioned, with the virtual Father's Day open house, the times we find ourselves in demand that we build new and creative ways to achieve our objectives. And like many organizations, Elan Lyell is doing just that. So their marquee event is the annual Father's Day open house. And so it's only about 2 weeks away. It's the foundation's largest fundraiser and a great opportunity for visitors to experience Elan Lyell. As you can see by the pictures, it's an amazing property. And this year, the foundation will be conducting the annual house virtually at a significantly discounted rate of $9.99 versus what they typically charge of a $50 admission ticket. And so if you've never been, we highly recommend that you make a day of it. Take the trip to Julian, to see this amazing property for yourself. And, after seeing it, I'm convinced it's right up there with the zoo, Balboa Park, all the other amazing things that we have in San Diego. You should definitely make it a mission to go and see it. But again, I think for $10, the whole family can take a look and sample it. And then hopefully, when we get to more normal times, you can go out and visit it in person. So thank you, everyone.
Well done, Tom, Natalie, Danny, and team. I love the backgrounds. What a nice touch. Very cool. Very well done. We're